15. Of course, we check the door. Well, more slab than door. The nature of the thing is pretty obvious too. Kai runs her hand over its smooth surface. Same material as the barrier in the kitchen. The man touches it. Only unyielding, and it's lost its transparency. It must have been here longer. There are no controls. I turn back to Kai. So what now? Tarrant slips his firearm from his shoulder. I can burn through it. You could try, but it won't do any good. The professor lightly traces a finger across the barrier, as if trying to find a secret pulse. Professor, these guns have got a hell of a punch. They can poke a hole through any known material in the universe. What about unknown material, He raps a knuckle on the black surface. You can burn a hole through this, but immediately more of the substance will flow into the void and repair itself. He stands back. You see, it's not a solid. It's a gas. Dense gas, incredibly dense. Under so much compression, it's hard as rock. But shoot holes in it? You might as well shoot holes in fresh air. Seems you know a lot about it. Yes, I do, don't I? How extraordinary. Kai lets out a whistle. Perhaps you'll come in useful after all, Professor. I hope so, and I pray you will be useful to me. Okay, Professor. Tarrant shoulders his gun. I'll trust you on that one, for now. So, let's put our new partnership to the test. Do you know if there's another way out of here? He smiles, then gives one of those apologetic shrugs we've come to know pretty well by now. I hear Kai vent her breath in frustration. Looks like we're going to have to search this place from top to bottom. As we walk back along the corridor, Kai fires questions at the man. There aren't any more tunnels running off this one? Not that I'm aware of. No locked rooms you don't have access to? None. Then adds in a puzzled voice, I did have a key once. A key? Yes, an important one. What kind of key? It was a... He grunts, his face twisting with pain, eyes narrowing, bleeding tears through the slits. Professor? What? He thunders. Are you going to fire questions at me for the rest of eternity? Are there any locked doors? What key? What prison? What time? Questions, questions! I don't have to answer any of them. You don't own me. You're nothing to me. You are trespassers. You've no right to be here. The words blast from his lips in furious torrents. Now his eyes blaze at us. If you listen to me, do as I say, then you might, just might, get out of here with your lives. With that, he turns and marches down the corridor. We follow. Bemused, Tarrant shrugs. Kai makes a gesture that I interpret. What the hell brought that on? I shake my head. The man's weird mood swings are becoming more pronounced. When we first arrived, he was good-natured, languid, unfazed by our arrival. Now there's something manic about him, prickly, edgy, even downright bad-tempered. From a doorway, a figure steps out. Kai reacts with surprise. Pup! Sweet life! Are we pleased to see you? Where's Captain Vey? Pup stares at us, then opens his mouth. We are all lost in the dark, Ranger. Soon you will be lost too. The Professor continues striding along the corridor, yet swings out an arm, hurling Pup against the wall. Professor, what are you... Kai's voice trails off. Pup simply evaporates into a cloud of flying insects. Don't you ever learn, children? The Professor doesn't even glance back as he snarls the words. Those are walking, talking hives. They'll lay the eggs of their young in your skin if they get half the chance. You'll be hollowed out within the week. Kai is rattled by the scolding. I could have sworn it was Pup. It looks so like... Yes, yes. Have you seen a stick insect mimic a stick? Or a chameleon change its colour? Nature is nothing if not resourceful. Look, that shadow on the wall I'm making. Is it a bird with its beak open? Or is it my hand and fingers mimicking the action? Now the sound is aggressive rather than dreamy. The Greek god Proteus could change into any shape, take on any form, disguise himself perfectly. Greek god? I echo, finding the man more bewildering than ever. Yes, Greece and its gods, Zeus, Apollo, Athena, Dionysus, the aforementioned Proteus. Ah! He stops to wave a finger at us. But you're not Homo sapiens of planet Earth, are you? We are Thals. Yes, of course. But Earth? I'd forgotten all about Earth. Yes. With his fingertips, he taps his chin in rapid movements, almost like someone operating a keypad. Earth. A little blue-green world populated by a quarrelsome race of beings. Infuriating but imaginative. Territorial to the point of psychosis. Pragmatic yet insufferably spiritual. I wonder what happened to them. Professor? I step a little tentatively, in the hope of avoiding triggering his wrath again. Professor, it seems that you are starting to remember more and more. Ah, a question disguised as a statement. Good, good. That is shrewd. See, disguise, whether it is physical form or words, has its uses. He walks away again, only to stop after 3 paces and whirl round. Yes, I am remembering more. He strides away. But whether that's going to be helpful or dangerous, only time will tell. We make that search of the complex. All we find is what we've seen before. A length of tunnel some 308 paces from the armchair to where it terminates. The professor reminds us often that he's paced the distance. 8 rooms leading from that tunnel for domestic use. The kitchen wall is just how the professor remembered it of old. It no longer appears as a slab of dark material, neither is it transparent. No trace remains of Amatan. From the wall's vertical plane hang kitchen utensils. The man taps a copper pan that hangs there. It chimes faintly. Extraordinary! See? He motions us closer. Nothing more than gas, all of it. In our absence, these pans and kitchen instruments have been extruded from the same material. Like those insects, like the god Proteus, this material can adopt any form it wishes. Tarrant sniffs the air as if sniffing for danger, or whatever intelligence that controls it dictates. Yes, you're probably right, Tarrant. He flicks the pan. The sound is more like a gong now. But, of course, this may be automatic. There may be no intelligent controller as such. But the 3 of you believe this is the work of that thingamabob you call a Dalek, don't you? All the clues indicate that is the case. You really don't like the Daleks, do you? No sane Thal would. Kai speaks with real heat. You've never heard of them, so you don't know what they do. And what do they do? They're a billion times worse than those walking hives you have here. They might not lay their eggs in your skin, but they consume anything and everything to preserve their existence. They're like a virus spreading through the universe. If it suits Dalek purpose, they'll slaughter every single life form on a planet, then strip mine it until it's an empty husk. They've even been known to suck dry entire stars of their energy. They are without conscience. Probably the only reason why more species haven't been wiped out by the Daleks is that the poisonous monsters want to see if nature produces any more evolutionary developments that they can exploit to make the Dalek race more powerful. They do sound formidable, don't they? Formidable? They're death. That's what they are, death. But there is another force more formidable, more ruthless. Yeah? And what might that be? Kai sneers her disbelief. The Thals. She flinches as if she's been slapped. After all, He speaks softly now. The Thals have driven the Daleks out of this arm of the galaxy, haven't they? How did you know that? I don't know how, but it's true, isn't it? This statement by the peculiar, mood-shifting man makes us all fall silent for a while. We wait in the kitchen without knowing why. Perhaps hoping that the fourth wall will simply melt away again to reunite us with the platoon. From time to time we check the comlinks in the forlorn hope that we can either speak to Captain Vey or to the ship still orbiting this stinking swamp of a planet. Tarrant opens every cupboard, perhaps in the hope it will reveal an exit. But all he finds are packs of food and kitchen utensils. Kai mentions the possibility of HQ becoming so concerned by their loss of contact with Captain Vey's platoon that they'll launch a search and recovery party. We wince at the thought of this. To have to be rescued by another platoon would be shameful for us. However, I doubt this will happen. Not yet, anyway. The global electrical storms here are so intense that HQ will simply guess we're sitting out hostile weather until it clears. Then we'd be free to make contact before taking the shuttle back to the ship. The Professor listens to our conjecture without comment. For a while, we settle into silence, simply staring at the black wall. Maybe it will vanish. Maybe the platoon will find another entrance to this complex. The Professor eventually breaks the silence. If you need a meal, there's no time like the present. Kai looks at me. I guess it couldn't do any harm. We're not going anywhere in a hurry. With a sigh of relief, she eases her helmet from her head and shakes her hair loose. Suits me, says Tarrant. What you got, Professor? I'll take tea, but I imagine you're not familiar with that, Tea? No, but I could use a drink of cold water. Kai? Kai? I see she's staring toward the door. Immediately, I spin round to look at what she's seen. My finger slips round the gun trigger. A child stands in the doorway. She's watching us with calm, grey eyes. There's no expression on her face. She does not move, does not even blink. The Professor turns from the sink with 2 cups of water. He nods at the child. Shall you, or shall I? Kai shakes her head, her eyes fixed on the child's face. No. That's my sister. The Professor sets down the cups on the table. You know what she is, Kai. She's not your sister. The insects have a telepathic ability. They can select a memory of someone you love and mould themselves into that image. I know. She's one of those disgusting walking hives. Then don't tarry, or they'll be burrowing into your skin. Then where will you be? Kai swallows. My sister's dead. Oh. I'm sorry. I truly am. She was killed with her friend when they triggered a mine. It would have been... Kai shakes her head, unable to continue. Those responsible? The Professor's voice is gentle. Daleks? Daleks, I confirm. Tarrant adds, when they withdrew from liberated planets, they seeded the soil with millions of tiny mines. They're powerful enough to maim and kill if you're close when they detonate. We run through sieving programs, but still 1 or 2 get through. Believe me, I am sorry. The Professor nods toward the child that is nothing more than a densely packed mass of insects. But we have to be rid of our uninvited guest. I understand, Kai tells him, but I'd rather not watch this time. Of course. He looks at me. Jomi, isn't it? I nod. Then, Jomi, Will you comfort your colleague while I deal with this?" I put my arm around her shoulders while positioning myself between her and the copy of her sister. "The trick is," the professor moves toward the child-shaped figure, "the trick is to break up the hive as soon as they form themselves into a humanoid figure. Prevents them from engaging the breeding cycle. Ah?" I glance back over my shoulder toward the doorway. The child has stepped backward into the corridor. "That is strange." The professor frowns. "The hives tend not to retreat when approached. But then again, they have been behaving out of norm recently." I remember how the Thal boy child acted earlier. "One of those things seemed to bring the platoon here this morning." "Really? Now, that is odd." He regards the child as it stands in the corridor, staring back in at him. Then he addresses it. "Can you understand me?" The child doesn't reply, doesn't even react. Simply stands and stares with those wide grey eyes. "Do you want us to follow?" The child doesn't move until the man takes a step forward. Then it reciprocates with a step backward. "You do want me to follow." The child shape doesn't respond verbally, but with every step of the professor's, it reciprocates with another step down the corridor. I whisper to Kai, "I think we should follow too." Kai nods as she picks up her firearm. I glance at Tarrant. "Best stay here and keep an eye on the kitchen wall, in case it performs the disappearing trick again." "Happy to. Those bug people give me the creeps." The three of us take our time following the child. It moves one step at a time. In the distance, we see the man's reading chair in the center of the corridor. The child appears to wait until it's sure we are following, then turns and walks forward into the spare room. "Well, it can't get far that way." I slip the gun strap over my shoulder. "It's just your junk room, isn't it, Professor?" "Junk room? That's my treasured archive." Kai steps forward. "She wants us to follow her in there." "She's they, if you remember." The professor holds up a hand to stop us. "The swarm of insects that have taken that shape see you as baby food." There's been a shift in our relationship, I realize. The professor has become our guide and protector. Once more, he holds up his hand to stop us from entering the room, instead electing to go first, even though he is unarmed. I know this state of affairs can't continue. There's a chance he will be our prisoner in the future, so I know I'm going to have to re-establish my authority over him. But, well, there is something formidable about him. I find myself slipping into the role of respectful student overawed by the charismatic, if spectacularly eccentric, schoolmaster. "Professor, next time, let me enter a room before you, just in case. Quickly, Rangers, you should take a look at this." I glance at Kai, and her shrug's eloquent enough. We are losing control of the man. From the tone of his voice, we realize he's found something, so we dart through the door. Two things. First, the girl. Something's happening to her. She's changing. Second, the room itself. That's different too. Kai shouts, "My sister did want to help us. She showed us a way out." This time, it's the professor who catches my eye. He's uneasy that Kai identifies what amounts to a parasitic swarm as her sister. Even so, I realize that the girl child, for whatever motive, has led us into a room that has undergone a profound change. "Zoe?" Kai has used her sister's name to address the walking hive, as the man dubs it. Zoe! The figure of the child is changing. I watch as its mouth alters shape. The lips are swelling, seemingly blistering as their colour darkens from pink to black. Lumps form on the face. I realise that where there was once a nose and lips, I'm now seeing a mass of insects. The figure is losing its cohesion. Instead of the insects making up an integrated human form, they're releasing their grip on each other. What was such a tightly woven fabric of legs, wings, thoraxes, and hard carapaces is unravelling. When it happens, I'm not exactly sure. 1 second, I'm seeing a human-like figure, albeit blurred as the swarm frees itself. Then the next instant, the girl dissolves into a cloud of buzzing insects. We flinch back as they hum through the air. For a moment, I think they've launched themselves at us. However, they sweep round the room in a black mist, increasing in speed until the buzz becomes a hard whine that sets our teeth on edge. The next moment, they're gone. Not through the doorway this time, but through the far wall of the junk room. The professor looks at us. It seems it's gone and done it again. My walls appear to have developed the perplexing ability to disappear. My. Here today, gone tomorrow habit. This is very confusing indeed. He makes a move toward the dark void beyond the room. Not this time, Professor. I move fast. I'll go first. Kai, watch our backs. This time, instead of finding an opening to blue skies, a rainforest, and a fortress on a cliff, we find ourselves at the start of a narrow tunnel that slopes steeply downward. Drawing a deep breath, I take a few paces back, then call through the doorway toward the kitchen. Tarrant, you better join us in here. This place has just gone and done it all over again.